The year was 1971. A 22-year-old man graduated from École Polytechnique, France's most prestigious engineering school. Bernard Arnault, the son of a construction engineer running a small family business, had absolutely no interest in the world of fashion or luxury. His life was directed towards continuing the family construction business in the industrial city of Roubaix. His world was concrete, government projects, and engineering calculations. Yet, beneath his compliance, burned a fierce ambition that would one day transform him from a provincial businessman into the king of the world's largest luxury empire. Chapter 1. The Leap to America and the Inverted Vision. In 1981, François Mitterrand was elected president of France with a socialist agenda. For Arnault, this was a nightmare. He was convinced France would become inhospitable to business. With daring, he moved his family to the United States, building a small construction business in Florida. There, far from the bustle of Paris, something happened. One day, in a New York taxi, the driver asked, "Monsieur, what do you do?" Arnault proudly answered about his construction business. The driver just nodded unenthusiastically. But then, the driver asked again, "Do you know Christian Dior? That is France. That is luxury." That brief conversation was like a bolt from the blue. Arnault realized a paradoxical truth. The world admired France, not for its bridges or buildings, but for the dreams sold through perfume, handbags, and gowns. Chapter 2. The First Takeover. Buying a bankrupt textile conglomerate in 1984. As Mitterrand began to relax his policies, Arnault returned to France. His family held a small stake in Boussac, a dying textile conglomerate. Boussac was a giant in free-employing 12,000 people, owning outdated factories, and, most importantly, holding Christian Dior in its portfolio. Everyone saw Boussac as a disaster. Arnault saw it differently. With funding help from Lazard Frères, he made a takeover bid for a symbolic £1 plus, a promise to assume all debt and save jobs. But Banditi's rescue offer, Arnault had a ruthless plan. He only wanted Dior. The rest had to go. Once in control, he performed what was called surgery. Within 2 years, he sold all of Boussac's non-core assets, fired 9,000 of the 12,000 employees, closed the old factories, sold off other brands. Only Christian Dior remained. Arnault had acquired one of the crown jewels of French luxury for practically nothing. This move earned him his first nickname in the press, the Terminator. But for him, it was a necessary bloodletting to save the patient. Chapter 3. The Corporate War. The Battle for LVMH. By the late 1980s, Arnault had rebuilt Dior, but his real masterpiece was yet to come. Seeing this weakness, Arnault saw an opportunity of historic scale. In 1988, with cunning strategy, he began secretly buying LVMH shares. He played a dangerous double game. He pretended to be the ally of Henri Racamaya Vuitton's chairman against Alain Chevalier Motet Hennessy's CEO, while simultaneously buying shares from both sides. The climax came in early 1989. In a stunning weekend coup, Arnault used his stake and complex financial engineering to seize control of the board. By Monday morning, LVMH conglomerate worth billions. With legendary brands like Louis Vuitton, Motet, and Chandon, Hennessy, and Dior under his control. He was just 40 years old. The French establishment was in shock. Le Monde wrote, "The wolf has entered the sheepfold of French luxury." Chapter 4. The Arnault Method, the algorithm of luxury. What followed was not mere expansion, but the creation of a completely new business model. Arnault applied what he called the creative and managerial dialectic. Buy distressed crown jewels, find heritage brands with glorious pasts but terrible present management. For example, Celine, Givenchy. Install creative geniuses. Recruit the most avant-garde designers, Joan Galliano at Dior, Marc Jacobs at Louis Vuitton, Phoebe Philo at Celine, and give them complete creative freedom. Apply industrial discipline behind the artistic scenes. Implement ruthless operational efficiency, global supply chain control, and aggressive retail expansion. Create scarcity and desire. Strictly control production, never discount, and master the art of waiting lists. Synergize the portfolio. Use LVMH's distribution, marketing, and real estate power to elevate every acquired brand. He turned luxury from an artisan craft into a scalable, global, high-margin machine. Under him, Louis Vuitton's annual revenue grew from about $200 million to over $20 billion. Chapter 5. The Epic Failures and Phoenix-like Comebacks. The journey was not without devastating setbacks. The Gucci disaster, 1999. Arnault tried to take over Gucci with a hostile bid. Gucci's CEO, Domenico De Sole, pulled a poison pill by massively diluting shares, then sold the company to French rival Franquet. Arnault lost the battle, and the humiliation was public and costly. The dot-com bubble burst. He invested heavily in luxury e-commerce ventures like Boo, Gum, and Fashion Mall that spectacularly failed, losing hundreds of millions. But each time Arnault demonstrated his most terrifying quality, ruthless resilience. He didn't dwell on losses. He analyzed, learned, and attacked elsewhere. After losing Gucci, he went on an acquisition spree, buying Fendi, Pucci, and Bugatti. He turned the e-commerce lessons into developing LVMH's own successful platforms like 24S Epilogue. The man who became the empire today, LVMH comprises over 75 iconic brands, from Tiffany & Co. and Sephora to Dom Perignon and Tag Heuer. Bernard Arnault's net worth has repeatedly surpassed $200 billion, making him one of the richest people in history. Yet, the man remains an enigma. He lives relatively modestly, plays the piano daily, and is known for his photographic memory and obsessive attention to detail. He didn't inherit luxury, he conquered it. He didn't just build a company, he architected an entire ecosystem of desire. His story proves a powerful truth about wealth. The greatest fortunes are not made by following trends, but by seeing the world differently, by finding priceless value where others see only rubble, and by having the courage to execute a grand, uncompromising vision. He started not with a luxury boutique, but with a construction company. He started not with champagne tastes, but with an engineer's pragmatism. From zero to the zenith of global luxury, this is the epic of Bernard Arnault.